welcome. This edition is about India. Exactly. The topic is, what is India's role in the new world order? My guest is an Indian thinker, conservative thinker, Saroj Bishoyi, a senior fellow from Vivekananda International Foundation from New Delhi to Budapest. Thank you very much for participating.
Thank you.
Mr. Bishoyi, my first question is, we had Chinese guests in this show, and they talk about the Chinese influence. And I really expect you to talk about the Indian influence in the world, the growing Indian power. And China is very similar by quantity, by quality to your country. But China has become a superpower already in the world. Is there any chance in the near future that India will follow the steps and becoming a global power in the world?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. If you see India's role in the world, in the new emerging world order, first look at the key aspects of India's, where India is positioned in this new world order. First of all, in economic terms, India is now, just a few days before, India became the fourth largest economy in the world, overtaking Japan. Now it has the largest market in the world. One of the largest emerging, and the middle class people is going to be more than 500 in coming 2030, and the growth, one of the fastest growing economy in the world. There is, in economic aspects, there is huge opportunity for investment and also the growth. And India is increasingly cooperating with the global South and also the other emerging and also the European and Western countries. So India's trade investment is growing very fast. In terms of the military aspects, India is one of the, very powerful military country in terms of, people say, the investment, defense expenditure now, which crossed more than 80 billion. And India's defense manufacturing, traditionally it has been one of the major importer of major arms in the world. But recently India has also producing large amount of defense equipment under the Make in India initiative and Atmanirbhar Bharat in India in defense sector. So the focus is to develop a joint partnership with the various countries, USA and other France, various European countries also, increasingly partnering with major defense equipment manufacturing. And India's ecosystem is also growing, developing very robust ecosystem we have. The government, startup and industries and academia are increasingly cooperating. So India's defense export last year crossed in more than 23,000 crores in that Indian rupees. In terms of geopolitical, if you see, India is positioned in between the Pacific and the African. It geopolitically, if you see, the position is very important. And it's now if you see the India's in Asia is rising with China. India is also provides a counterweight to China. China recently has become very aggressive in terms of its the military and on the BRI policies and increasing, and India provides a counterweight to China. In terms of the technology, emerging technologies, under various technology initiatives, national missions like quantum national mission, it has launched various projects under with the partnership with industry and academia. And the semiconductor sector also, it has under India semiconductor mission. It has now setting up of one manufacturing hub and of 5 assembly testing and packaging thing.
Sir, excuse me for interrupting you. You mentioned so many things, and I would like to specifically go after one other. And one most important category, which you are a world power already, is the population. You are the most populous country in the world at the moment, and you will be, because the gap is growing between China and India. 1.5 billion people is crazy. And what's the advantage of it?
Yeah, actually, if you see, India is now if you see the scale that is taking place in terms of talent that we have. huge STEM talents we have. A lot of people. That is the clear evident advantage we have, and also most of the startup ecosystem also emerging in various fields, emerging technologies. So the growing population and it provides a huge market for the Western products, and also the companies also setting up the de-risking and setting up industries in India. So the growing population and a huge middle class and the market, big market that it has, it provides immense opportunity for various countries in the Europe and also the USA and other East Asia. So it is the economic point of view is very important.
This is a quantity, and let's talk about the quality. You mentioned some technological aspects, but can you name some inventions what India is very good at? And at it, India is already a leading power.
So if there are various sectors that India leading. For example, India one of the leading country in terms of software service provider, which like TCS or Infosys or Wipro. Their total export crosses 190 billion annually. And also if you see the in the space sector, in the 2014 India launched the cheapest Mongolian mission, mission to Mars. Then in 2023 the moon mission Chandrayaan 3, it is the first country became to land its mission in the moon's south pole. And Aditya L1 space, that is also sent to the sun's orbit. So and also the next very soon it is coming the the fast band mission Gaganayan in coming years. So it is it's a space sector doing a very huge success there is. And in the 2020 it government opened this space sector for the private, and now thanks to that various startups are attracting huge investment. Our ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, increasingly partnering with developed countries like United States NASA, and also the Japan's Space Agency, and also European Space Agency. India's products also, it is not focusing on like another important that contribution to the world is India's digital public infrastructure. During India's presidency in 2023, the all G20 countries, they accepted India's proposal to set up a digital repository system, and also India's plan to expand this digital infrastructure. India's digital, India that launched Government of India in 2015, that is a huge success. Everything is got digitalized. The banking system and the healthcare system and the railway, a lot of things has been increasingly digitalized, and the people of India getting huge benefit. It is provides the government now, the service is provided to the people that become the connection between the people and the government become very improved. Earlier, the transparency improved. The corruption has been the mediated people that earlier some corruption was taking place in between. That has been because directly the benefits goes to their account thanks to the bank account open. So various in digital sector, space sector, in defense. Also, India is exporting the defense to the African countries and other East Asian countries to meet their own security requirements. It was not earlier. So huge making a contribution to in terms of defense technology and economic field.
I see. Thank you for sharing this. And you mentioned defense, and you mentioned some minutes ago the threat from China. China is developing its army. You have issues with China, border issues. You have some complaints about Chinese companies investing in Pakistani infrastructure, which is an arch enemy of India. And maybe the economy, rivalry with China, cheap Chinese goods coming to India, and etc. Is India afraid of China these years?
India is not afraid of China. India, if you see, India and China are two oldest civilization countries. For centuries, they lived together peacefully. But last 2 decades or so, China's rise has the assertive rise, especially in terms of military. That created a lot of, and also the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. Under that initiative, a lot of investment that they have made on a regional the connectivity or infrastructure development, that led to the debt trap, and also those are not very transparent. And in terms of if you see the border problem that we had, the problem that is not resolved yet, but both sides recently agreed to discuss and not be this is the only keep both sides the other huge other opportunities to expand in the BRICS and other Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Two countries are on global issues and challenges working. But at the same time, as you mentioned rightly, that Pakistan and China, the growing military ties between these two countries. Now, Pakistan, they are imports more than 80% of its arms from China, and China and Pakistan is not. The people of Pakistan has to divide how to take their country forward, but India is increasingly looking to have a better ties with both Pakistan and China. But Pakistan is the terrorism that is the United Nations designated terrorists that are based in Pakistan, and they use those terrorists as backed by the states. They sponsor, they train, they sponsor terrorist attack and a state policy. That is not acceptable. And that the nexus between China and Pakistan in terms of nuclear or defense, that is creating a bit problem for us.
The Chinese influence is growing in Pakistan, in Africa, and mostly the Asia-Pacific region. And you are a superpower, almost, I would say that. Huge market, huge economy. You have a military, you are a nuclear power, you are a regional power, and you are growing quantity and quality, as we mentioned earlier. But many experts say, and I'm very interested in your opinion, that if India would give up this kind of neutrality policy and took openly the sides with the Western allies or the Indo-Pacific allies against China, you could be the real force counterbalancing China. Why don't you do that?
So if you see, India has a natural partnership with the Western countries. In terms of securing the maritime freedom of navigation and maintaining peace, free, open, inclusive, and rule-based order in the Indo-Pacific region. There is a clear convergence of interest between the Western powers, and there is now Quad, which is increasingly working on those maintaining peace, stability, and the open line of freedom of navigation in the Indo-Pacific region. But however, the China's the assertiveness with the rise of economic and military power, it has become very assertive in this region, which not only is a threat to India but also the East Asian countries. For example, in the South China Sea, it claims a 9-day line, which is not overlaps the other the territorial integrity and sovereignty of other East Asian countries, Philippines or other countries in the South China Sea region. And in South Asia, it claims the borders that is never belong to China. Okay, so that is sometimes that they claim it is completely outrageous. And if you see, there is the rise of China assertively and economic lack of transparency. It brings closer to India to the Western countries like the European and also the USA. European countries recently, they are now formulating their own Indo-Pacific strategy. France has been a Pacific power and USA has been Pacific power. So under the Quad and also the Quad Plus is now the talk is going on. So there is increasing convergence among the Western powers and India. So to do a lot of non-military activities like building infrastructure, maintaining the peace and stability in the ocean, because a lot of trade takes place through seas. So that is very important for.
If I want to be more specific, in Pacific, of course, you are a partner of the Quad. Japan tries to connect you into the FOIP strategy. Meanwhile, you are a co-member with Russia and China in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and BRICS states. So it is, from my perspective, it's kind of a political parallelism. But is it sustainable for a long term or not?
No, it is quite sustainable. India has been, if you say, India has been maintaining its strategic autonomy in terms of maintaining its relationship with the major powers and also the other these global South countries. So wherever our for example, China, India has some global issues where China cooperates with India cooperates with China, and these two countries are working together. But there are issues where Russia has been a traditional partner, most reliable partner of India. During the Cold War, if you see when the 1971 took place, Russia was instrumental in defending our territorial integrity, sovereignty against this 1971 war. So on the European countries, there is also growing convergence of interest. So and also USA. At present, if you see, the world is in flux. There is clearly divided, politically divided, deeply divided in the United States on various foreign policy, defense issues, and immigration issues. In the Europe, there is on defense and economic issues, a trade war. There is also clear division between the transatlantic relationship. So, and the Ukraine war, since then, the Russia being pushed towards China, is that healthy? I don't think that is healthy. So maintaining a strategic autonomy, independent relationship with all the major powers, that provides the India in a greater position at present. Even it is often seen as India is in a geopolitical sweet spot to manage and lead on various issues of the climate change or countering terrorism, or the addressing the health issues. Post-COVID, India and Quad countries, they partnered to provide vaccines. More than 500 million vaccines were distributed among the Quad countries. India itself, the 66 million provided vaccine under Vaccine Maitri, that friendship, to global South countries. So there is increasing areas where India works with the partners and also but independently.
I see. If I mention 3 crisis points in the world, presently these are the 3 major crises. You could see that the East and the West departing from each other and getting in a confrontation to each other. First, the Gaza, the Middle East conflict, Iran and Israel. Israel has the Western allies, mostly the American. Iran is getting close to, in this aspect, Russia and China. If you see the Taiwan issue, China tries to change the status quo in the Pacific in a Taiwan issue. Taiwan has America, and China has maybe the supporting power, Russia or maybe Iran. And the third one, the Ukrainian war in East Europe. NATO, Europe and America is against Russia. Russia has the backing of China and maybe Iran, and these are the Western countries against them. India is a strange position in these 3 areas. Neutrality, or not taking part of any global issues on these 3 issues. Where are you at these crises?
Mm-hmm. It's a very good question. Actually, if you see, the United States has been playing the leadership role, but over the last 1 decade or so, if you see, there is absence of a global leadership. And global institutions, if you see, like United Nations, which was quite effective in maintaining the some of the responsibilities, but that became, since the Ukraine war, it became very ineffective. Security Council is completely failed to take in case of the Gaza, the Israel-Hamas conflict ongoing, and also the major powers, like Russia, China, or other the countries that are creating the actions. That is, there should be some kind of responsibility to maintain also the stability, and also they should concern about the global South countries, because of this ongoing conflict in the Taiwan state or the Ukraine war and the Israel-Hamas war. Those ongoing conflicts impacts the global South, where India is in, advocating for peace, stability, prosperity, so that the many other socio-economic issues can be addressed. So India is not neutral on various issues. India takes its position in the benefit of a global community. So in this, for instance, in the Taiwan state, Taiwan now at present provides more than 90% of high-end advanced chips. Okay, so that if there is a conflict or that instability will create, that will affect the global supply chain of a semiconductor. In the AIL, we have in the Middle East, we have more than 9 million population living, our own people living in the Middle East. So India is not silent there. So India is asking, the advocating for peaceful resolution of a conflict, and in the ongoing the Ukraine war also, Prime Minister of India and other leaders, they met both sides with President Putin, also President Zelensky, and they asked, they spoke about the finding a peaceful resolution of this conflict. So India has, even when the Ukraine war took place, more than 20,000 students, Indian students, were studying in the Ukraine. So India had to take some challenging tasks of evacuating the population that affected us. And India is not interested of this conflict. India wants a peaceful resolution, but India at the same time not a silent or neutral. India has a clear, direct, our foreign policy interest to get infected. So India takes a clear position.
Thank you. Thank you for summarizing this. And I would finish with the economic issue. You already mentioned the Chinese project, the Belt and Road Initiative, and it has a rival project. It's just under construction now. It's called the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, the IMEC, and we had a conference in Danube Institute on this topic, and it's very interesting. It's mind-blowing project. If it's working in the future, we will see that soon. What is the Indian interest in this project?
India has a huge interest in this project because it not only provides an alternative to the China's Belt and Road Initiative, but also it will help further integrate into the to the Indian market, into the Europe access. Now the ongoing conflict in this Middle East region that delayed. But India has taking initiative in Sahabar port in Ukraine, that India wants to connect with this. There is increasing the need of further investment in these projects, railroad projects, and digital connectivity, and also the building huge infrastructure that required support in terms of ports. So there is building connectivity to India to Europe that will open up India market access to the Europe. Indian private companies, there is huge opportunity for investment and building the connectivity, regional connectivity in the region. So there in the the initiative was launched during the BRICS summit in 2023 during India's presidency. India, USA, and European Union, UAE, Saudi Arabia. All the countries, they signed this agreement, and this is delayed, but I think it will pick up very soon, and it is in clear interest of European countries, the Middle East, and also India.
But the big question is it a counterbalancing act from your side against China or not?
Actually, if you see the China's Belt and Road Initiative, it is not transparent. It's a debt trap policy. If you see, it is not many countries that the Hambantota in Sri Lanka or other regions that they built, that went to the that Hambantota in Sri Lanka, that they could not met the payment. It now China took 100 years of lease, and other countries that took loan from China, they are in debt trap. So that is not the US and other Western countries. They are asking for also to be more transparent and also be in terms of the policy that they are implementing. Even also respect other countries' territorial integrity, sovereignty, while building this Belt and Road Initiative. Those things needs to be India is now looking. India is, if you last a few years, India is building a huge, making huge investment. After COVID, if you see, India provided 4 billion development aid to Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. Those countries were in high, dire need of economic assistance because of the pandemic. That lockdown happened to revive the economic were struggling. So India provided economic aid to them. Now India also building roads and railroad network with East Asian countries, Thailand, Myanmar, and India, Bangladesh also, with Japan, in partnership with Japan and Africa, there is also the development infrastructure corridor going on. So there is a lot of India doing also development and connectivity works. So India is doing the way is more transparent and open because India is a democracy. China is an authoritarian government. So there is a lack of transparency of what is done. People that don't know what is how much investing. There is no the opening. They open up. So India is doing more debate, more open, transparent way in in partnership with other countries, global partnership like European Union or the USA. USA also we have a lot of development partnership in Africa and also many parts of the Asia. On the Quad also they are doing a lot of things. So India is a democracy, and India is more transparent about what is doing. It is, but China is not transparent about what is doing.
Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for your attention. We see you each other next week. Bye bye.